applied questions, so we'll answer those first, and we have council officers who will help answer those questions as well, and then we'll open it to the floor and anyone can ask any question they like. So we'll start with the first question. It says, what section of the Queensland Government legislation says that GRC has the authority to charge every ratepayer the waste management facility charge? I'll hand over to Kim, who is our Acting General Manager of Finance, Governance and Risk. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you. So there are 3 sections of the Local Government Act that enable us to charge for utility charges. They are a separate charge. And this is what covers our waste management fees. The charge is applied equally to all ratepayers throughout the region based on the fact that everyone benefits from having the waste management facilities in some sense, whether it's a bin service or it's the ability to go to the transfer stations and the landfill. So the way that the rate is applied is outlined in our revenue statement, but it is applied consistently to all ratepayers. Any further questions? No?
Thank you. All right, the next question was, what is GRC proposing to do about the inadequate toilet facilities at the Miriamvale Showgrounds? Over to Tim, our Acting General Manager of Community and Lifestyle. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Mehmet. Just a quick one on this one. So we've been talking to the team leader on the ground down there, and we're going to go in and do an assessment of the facilities.
So that means we might be upgrading them sometime soon. Is that what I just said? Thanks, Tim. Very good. Excellent. All right. It would be fantastic to see that happen. Their most amazing rodeo there, along with Calliope, once a year. So it would be good. Also, the next question that was submitted is one for Kim as well. And it says, what part of our rates is for sewage or a sewage system that doesn't exist here? I think costs of emptying septic tanks should be recovered by our rates. I'll throw to Kim soon, but there shouldn't be a sewage charge if you don't have a sewage connection. So you will get a general rate, which is every ratepayer. And if you have a sewage connection, you'll get a sewage charge. If you have a water connection, you get a water charge. And if you have a bin collection, you'll get a cleansing charge. So I can answer that bit to say you wouldn't be receiving a sewage charge if the sewage system doesn't exist. And if you are, please bring me your rates notice and I'll give it to one of these two to sort that out for you. But in terms of septic tanks, should they be covered by rates? Do you want to take that or you want me? Well, I can. It'll be a boardroom decision, but it's not something we've considered in the past. It's generally something that, because you don't pay for a sewage connection, you have a septic, you're responsible for that yourselves. If we put that on your rates notice, that would just be an extra bill. So some people would like to be able to negotiate with whoever does the cleaning out of their septics to get themselves a better deal. Arguments in the past have been if council does it, it'll end up costing us more than if we do it ourselves. So that's where that came about, and that's why council doesn't put septic charges on your rates notice. But always something we could consider, but as I said, it's not something that most people have asked us to do. Okay, thanks. And thanks, Tim. That's all for the submitted questions. So I'm happy to take questions from the floor now. Julie.
I've just had a lot. Oh, I don't think we need that. Thank you anyway. Oh. Such a quiet. I've had a lot of conversations with people about the dog registration. And a lot of people are unhappy about the increase, but there's a lot of people that are asking why we're paying it anyway. What does council do to actually warrant us paying you that money every year?
Yeah, okay, good question. And it's been asked, I remember when the registration for cats came in a lot of years ago, it's the same sort of question. Firstly, it's so that we know where all the animals are. Ideally, everyone registers their pets, so you know. It helps fund the local laws team so that when animals go stray and wandering out there, that our local laws team can be out there to make sure that your dogs are registered and your dogs are kept in their properties where they're meant to be. That's basically what the registration is for. So there wouldn't be a council in the state, probably not one in the country, that doesn't have a registration for animals, and it's to provide and encourage responsible pet ownership. And also it's fairly reasonably priced, I believe, if you have a desexed animal that's microchipped. For a lot of years, our puppies weren't desexed, and it cost us a little bit more, but now they are, and it's a little bit more affordable. And also, I believe, check me if I'm wrong, you should get a discount for a pensioner as well. So we're trying to make it as affordable as possible, but I get no one wants to pay any fee, any charge. This is just one that's been in place for a long time to try and encourage responsible pet ownership, but also to fund our not just our local laws department, but our department that manages dogs and cats and animals.
You put up, I think someone said it was $15. I don't quote me on that, but someone said it went up by $15 when something only cost $80-something. So to go up by $15, how do you justify that?
Well, I'd have to check exactly how much it went up by, but it possibly hasn't gone up for a number of years. And that happens a lot with our fees and charges. We look at them every year and go, we don't want to increase them, we don't want to increase them, we don't want to increase them. Sometimes it's easier just to put a CPI charge in, and that way everyone expects a little increase every year. It would most likely have been a catch-up. I don't know if it was $15 off the top of my head, but we can certainly find out. We try and keep every cost at an absolute minimum. Every councillor, every officer is a ratepayer as well, or if they're not a ratepayer, they rent. They rent off ratepayers, and the idea is to keep the costs down as low as possible. We want it to be a user-pays service, though. So for those who have the animals and those who take use of that service, we ideally want them to pay for it, not the people who don't. So it is generally always subsidised by the general ratepayer as well. Most services are. Hang on, who asked you? Kidding. Yeah, I'll let you jump in anytime. That's great. Thank you. In more recent times, I believe that's the case, but previously it wasn't. So I'm pretty sure a long time ago, and I've been at the council a little while now, it wasn't legislation, but it's come a long way, and Queensland Government are very determined to make sure that animals are registered. Thank you, Councillor Holzheimer. You can jump in anytime. Over here.
Yeah, this is really Marianvale more than Bororen. The main street of Marianvale, Blomfield Street. I noticed a garbage truck guy comes very late in the morning, and that's when he's picking up all the industrial rubbish and everything on the footpath. And he seems to get very cranky. I was just wondering if he could get through there earlier before the cars are parked right up and down the street where he can't get to the bins. And also the street sweeper might be able to actually clean the gutters out.
Okay, cool. So it's the industrial one you're talking about?
No, all the street bins. He comes.
Okay. Well, that's a conversation we'll definitely have with JJ Richards. Yep. It's not at council. We pay them to do the service. So there'd be a reason why they're doing that time, but you're right. We spend a lot of money on that street to make sure it's usable for visitors particularly, as well as locals, especially locals. But the idea was to bring people off the Bruce Highway, and it's absolutely worked. Anyone can argue with me differently on that, and I know it has because I'm there often, and there's always people off the Bruce Highway. But if that is causing an issue, we can talk to JJ's, and who's managing the JJ contract now, thank you, and ask them to consider doing it earlier or later so it doesn't impact.
The street fills pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So we need to get the garbage taken out earlier. Down there.
Yeah.
And if you have a drive down here, you'll see the build-up of leaf rubbish in the gutters where the sweeper can't get to it either.
Well, it's a perfect opportunity because you're going to receive a letter in the mail depending on where you live, or you'll see it in the media soon. We're renegotiating the contract with JJ's and changing the dates. So you'll hear it first. We're changing the dates of a lot of people's bin collection service. So the city, the region has grown, and to make it more efficient, we're changing the pickup dates and also getting it prepared for our GO service, which is Garden Organic Service. Not every resident will receive one. Obviously, if you're on acreage, you don't necessarily need a GO bin service. But if you live in the city in Gladstone, or if you live in an urban area, they're the sort of areas we're looking to put a GO bin service. No final decision has been made on exactly who gets one just yet. We're still working that through, but ultimately, I would think it will be the urban users who get that, and of course, they will then pay for that in their rates notice, and everyone who doesn't won't. Thanks, Bernie. Question?
Yeah, I suppose most of you are aware that the Marianvale Rodeo Association has put up a proposal to paint the water tower in Marianvale.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the questions the council wanted us to have was to speak to the First Nations people and get their okay. We've had that discussion, and they have told us that they will give us a response at the end of October. So hopefully once that comes through, we'll start to get the ball rolling. We just see this as a first step in Marianvale, that if we can get that going, hopefully you can reopen the information centre there and promote the Boyne Valley, Baffle Creek, Magnus Water and everything from Marianvale and the rest of the northern end of the Shire, and hopefully paint the water tower out here as whatnot. But we've got tremendous community support for the idea. We've been to a hire company that sponsors the rodeo. I went to them and asked them how much per day for a cherry picker. Oh, he said, a community project like that, we'll give it to you.
Oh, that's the way.
You just arrange transport to and from Miriamvale. We went and seen a paint shop, and they said, oh, yes, will you give us a sponsorship letter, and we'll probably do it at mates' rates. And the question is, at the moment, the water tower is not suitable to be painted. It needs to be cleaned, and we're not sure whether it needs to put a membrane on it or not. But the paint people said that the paint they would recommend has a mould inhibitor in it. So what we're asking, if and when this project goes ahead, can council present that water tower in a condition ready to be painted? In other words, we're asking you, can you possibly clean it?
That's a fair question. I'll have to put it to the councillors, but I can't do it for them right now. But that's a very fair question, and I think that's not unreasonable for council to do that. Glenn is my key reservoir painter, wants to see them all done, so I'm sure he'll lead the charge in terms of making sure that's cleaned. It's not. I think the membrane's important as well. So I'd have to defer to our officers about what is required to get that to a state that it can be painted. But it would look amazing, and what a great job from the rodeo to be able to get someone to give you the cherry picker for free, to probably get the paint at mates rates. If we did it, it'd be triple that price. So just as it is, I've seen from a local, national, state level, when council does it, it's this much higher than everyone else, than state, than federal. If it's done at a community level, you can do it for near nothing most of the time. So if we can contribute to that for a small amount of money from the ratepayers, that allows you to leverage the funds from others, then I can't see us not supporting it. But there is 9 councillors in the room, so get them all as you leave the room. You only need 5. You got 1. Perfect. Oh, yeah.
So she knows how things operate.
She certainly does. Yes, she does. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to put on it, but I tell you what, a rodeo bull or something like that might be nice to encourage if it's the rodeo is organising it. Well, and I'm not picking artists, but if you get someone like that just did ours, and I just said his name, Morris Green, that amazing artwork in Tank Street, someone who can do something like that would be unreal. But it would be good to have a bull buck in there. And before I come to Julie, I'll just answer the other part of your question. The Information Centre is run by Gladstone Area Promotion Development Limited, which is a regional tourism organisation. Sadly made that decision a long time ago to close it. And I know why, and you will all know the same reason, is people just aren't going into them anymore. They get on their apps, on their phone, and they determine where they're going to stay. They determine where they're going to visit. And so we need to make sure GAPDL is promoting the region digitally, which they are. We still have the small, well, we did last time I looked, the small version of our information centre in the main street at the coffee shop. I'd love to see every shop in Miriamvale have more of that pamphlets, but people just aren't taking it anymore, unfortunately. So, oh, sorry, and Councillor Davis is on the board of GAPDL. So it was a sad day when it closed, and it's very hard to reopen that for anything because of the lack of toilet facilities, the lack of parking. But it's such a great location in the main street on the Bruce Highway. I'd love to see something in there sooner or later. What can it be? Sorry, I did have Julie, but Michelle's jumping in there. Sorry, question?
By text for a group in Miriamvale keen to use that particular building. So
yeah. We did put it out to community consultation a while back. We had... Oh, 5 minutes ago. Well, that's hot off the press, but yeah, we might need to go back out. But Yeah, we might need to go back out and ask who wants it, and they might be the first dibs. But the problem we got, the building isn't fit for much because of its lack of facilities. Yeah. Yeah. Julie?
And I suggest, if you're not a boatie, to go and do it at 3 o'clock in the morning, because that's the time they use to go out to the reef. And when I went down, I was reversing the boat down, and once it's at low tide when you're putting the boat in, there's no lighting. Once you get past that ramp and you're onto the thing, so along that jetty there where it is, it needs absolute lighting so that you can see when you're reversing a boat in at 3 o'clock in the morning. And they come in really late at night as well, so the same thing. It's just maybe reviewing the lighting at Turkey Beach just to make sure it's adequate for boaties getting in and out at those hours of the morning, and the tides.
Yeah.
High tide's a different story. Low tide's another one.
Yeah, it was a good tide this morning. I saw it on the way here. So can we put that in as a CSR to review the lighting at Turkey Beach boat ramp? I have got a boat, and I definitely will put it in down there, but I'm not sure I'll do it at 3 a.m. in the morning. But
Going on autopilot. Yeah, no, I did it this morning. I know it's, yeah. Even Dave said to me, this lighting needs fixed. So you go into that council thing today, you should get them to check it. So
okay.
It is. And also for the women, you come off the boat, the first thing you want to do is go to the toilet, and it's 200 metres away, right over in the bush with the kangaroos. So when you're looking at ever redoing the boat ramps, just remember the women.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions? We might head back into our general meeting. You're welcome to stay and watch the council meeting. I'm sure it's riveting, but you're very welcome to stay. And we've got a few more items on the agenda, and then we'll wrap it up. But thank you for attending this morning, and look forward to finishing this council meeting sometime today. Cheers.